Are gone now, but in addition to the audads, today you might see sambar deer and Roosevelt elk mingled with the cattle. Keep watching, and you may also glimpse some animals native to the area, including deer, foxes, and coyotes, as well as the large black birds that soar through the skies, known as turkey vultures. That soar through the skies, known as
get us started in our storytelling. Mr. William Randolph Hearst was born on April 29th in 1863. His father, George Hearst, had come west. It wasn't until 1919, though, that he was able to start his dream of building here. That's when his beloved mother, Phoebe, passed away. And he wrote a letter to architect Julia Morgan of San Francisco, asking her to help him build a little something up here on the hilltop. He was getting too old and tired for camping in tents. And this is the little something they put together. Construction first started on the small houses in 1920 and here in Casa Grande in 1922. Mr. Hearst's media career, though, that began when he was attending Harvard in the late 1800s. He attended for 3 years before they kicked him out for poor grades, not because he liked to party, despite what you might have heard. But he edited their newspaper, the Harvard Lampoon. And in 1887, he convinced his father, George, that he could run the San Francisco Examiner. George had purchased that newspaper to help him be elected to Congress. And it was successful with that. It was not successful in making him money until Mr. Hearst took over. And in 2 years, it's making a profit for the family. And Mr. Hearst never looked back. By 1935, he has 28 newspapers nationwide. 1 out of 4 Americans is reading a Hearst publication. He also has magazine empire building with the titles of Cosmopolitan, Harper's Bazaar, and Good Housekeeping, all of which are still under the Hearst umbrella today. And of course he has this little media thing that he's involved in with movies and newsreels, Cosmopolitan, like I'm sure you did, but they get off on this side and had fewer steps to climb. Sorry. But the staff would meet them and help them to escort them to their rooms, help them to unpack if they weren't like David Niggin and smuggling in alcohol. And then they were given free reign to the estate. They could walk the gardens like you will have a chance to do, perhaps play a little tennis, some swimming, horseback riding. We have pictures of actresses Eleanor Boardman and Marion Davies playing a little game under this magnolia tree. It was new in 1935. Monopoly? But by late afternoon, early evening, around 5 o'clock, you got back to your rooms. You needed to dress for dinner. Dinner was a required attendance. And it was, after all, the ranch, so no formal attire, no tuxedos, gentlemen, just business suits, cocktail dresses, ladies. But you wanted to make sure you were up and ready You had a first chance to see Mr. Hearst that evening at 7 p.m. Remember to stay on the gray carpet, please. Just look down at your feet. Make sure you're staying where you need to. You come in. You're doing good, kids. Please stay on the gray carpet. Well, the assembly room was the first room ready for use here in Casa Grande in 1925, and the family will use it at Christmas time. Mr. Hearst married Millicent Wilson in 1903, and over 12 years the couples would have 5 boys together. The last one happened to be twins. And they would spend their summer vacations here, just like Mr. Hearst did. And Mr. Hearst starts making Sam Simeon a semi-permanent resident, staying here about 6 to 7 months out of the year, and the remainder of the time split between homes in Los Angeles and the estate Wintoon, which is up by Mount Shasta in Northern California. He would begin his collecting at the age of 10. That's when his mother took him out of school for 18 months and they took a grand tour of Europe. And she wrote back to his father saying she had a hard time with his many buying trips to Miss Morgan, saying, I bought the mantelpiece, that, and the tapestries are sure to make any room, and I'm sure you will build a hall to receive them. And the mantelpiece spoke about in that particular letter is this one right here. It's a 16th century French carved stone mantelpiece. It once stood in the home of Charles Barney, banker of New York, but when he died, they destroyed his home. They boxed this up and left it in storage until Mr. Hearst purchased it from French & Company, along with the tapestries that are on the east and west wall. They're also 16th century, they're Flemish in origin, woven with wool. Steve, I apologize. Other half style.
Last guy not here. Pat not here today. Thank you, sir.
Oh, he's not here today. Well, okay.
Okay, I need you guys to
See,
move
I'm
over so we
trying
get in.
so hard to get your names down.
Yeah, that's okay.
Come on in, folks. We have a few more people to squish in. The refectory is a name that's given to a dining hall in like monasteries or schools. So of course that's the name that fits so well for Mr. Hearst to call his dining hall. And we remarked several times that this was not a hotel. There was no room service. Everyone had to come to the dining hall to eat. He would lead his guests through the set of the double doors between 7 and 9 p.m. for dinner. But as you stay or on, you find yourself moving further and further to the edge of the table, and if you got to the end, you knew your time was over. You needed to go home, and hopefully you behaved yourself and you would get another invitation back. Guests remarked at how simple the table was set. Old blue willow stoneware, simple flatware, simple glassware, paper napkins, and the condiments right on the table. Ketchup, mustard, and steak sauce. There was, after all, the ranch. The fancy china was saved for Mrs. Hearst's estate in London, New York. Menus pretty much were simple, although Charlie Chaplin did remark on having a feast of the season with venison, pheasant, and duck. Mr. Hearst's favorite meal was pressed duck, and he had a poultry ranch, so he could have it whenever he liked. As well as the pressed eggs for breakfast, which was served between 9 and 10 and 11 a.m., Lunch was served at 1 p.m. buffet style. And guests made sure it was their first meal here. They missed breakfast. It would also be their first chance to see Mr. Hearst that day. And of course, dinner was required. The architectural design of the room is Gothic. And that design style is meant to be tall, draw your eye to God. And the first way that you get to how that is room are by the choir stalls that are along the side of the wall. Those little seats entry Italian ceilings. And when you look up, you see that you're missing an element of Gothic architecture, stained glass windows. Mr. Hearst intended to have them, and then changed his mind. Yeah, what they call it changeableness of mind. But his reason was that we make the room too dark, and then the twinkling stars above would be able to see the merriment below. The plain glass was used instead. the left and to the right. We're just going to squish in a few more people here. And everybody stays on the great carpet and the museum monsters under the furniture won't get you. I'm kidding. The museum monsters are upstairs under the beds. We got everybody? Squishing a few more in. You folks are on a nice early tour, so you get a better understanding of why they call this the morning room. Because we get the nice morning sunlight that lights up the room. However, it was not used during the morning. Don't let the China tea service there fool you. It was used after dinner. In the evenings, this is where you could come and have that after dinner liqueur, a brandy or a creme de menthe, and a cigar. No, it wasn't. It was a dare. Well, you weren't here last weekend. It was 109. Here. There. Yeah. Yeah. And they're reading, oh, you're on the beach. It's cool. Show you, Mr. There's
Okay, it's okay.
There's some over in the front. And there's Mr. Hearst there on the left, showing his guests around. The woman on the left, the blonde, that is Marion Davies. Here she is, she's clowning.
Okay. What do you want to have in the picture? You husband and okay.
חביבי ברכה. למה חשוב? בדיוק, ציצות,
איפה היה?
הוא לא היה ספורטאים, בשביל להשלים את הזה, להצדיק את הבריכה. ככה הוא היה אוסף חברים באמצעות העושר שלו.
אז בוא נרד לטרמינציה. לא, רק בגלל הטרמינציה. דרך שז'וסי פרמה. senza aneddota ci sono.
מה, הוא היה עובד? אם הוא עשה שתי בריכות פה...
Tato nu deranjăm pe vers. Vreau colțul ăla, Andrei. אחד אחד?
סטן. מה זה? זו השתקפות יפה.
הסולם שיורד למים.
לראות את הפנסים שעשויים משיש, אני רואה בתוך פנסים עשויים משיש.
אני זוכרת מפה את ההשתקפות.
זה חופשית לקרוא יעדה לבית המשפט.
נכון?
למה זה אי אפשר לקרוא?
בעסק הזאת אין.